about perseverance against adversity and creates a lasting connection through vivid storytelling. As Halloween draws near, we travel to the Smoky Mountains of Northern Virginia, where chilling tales of haunted happenings linger. Tonight, our storyteller transports us to his childhood, sharing a spine-tingling family legend of supernatural forces, a father's unwavering resolve, and the unexplainable. Before we start, if there is a candle in front of you, please light it. And by that I mean hit the switch. Please welcome Jonas, the story of the ghost dog that netted.
The place, Smoky Mountains, Georgia, where the Appalachians start their climb north. It's got a brutal past. Over 300 years ago, the Cherokee and Muskogee Indians fought a battle there. It was so bloody that the creeks ran red with blood. It happened at the base of Blood Mountain at Slaughter Gap. Today, the locals will say that the mountain has a presence. It has a spirit that's restless out there. They say that in the dark, you see shadows across the forest moving in the night, and you can hear otherworldly sounds. My father found this place in the 1980s. He was a Vietnam veteran. He was a Special Forces Green Beret, and while he fought battles across 2 continents in the deep jungles, he set himself on a vision that he would create a family and build a cabin with his own 2 hands, a sanctuary that he could hand down to our family like a birthright from generation to generation. He found this place and he fell in love with it. The land was beautiful and it was cheap. And he bought a parcel up there. The locals would say to him, "Y'all planning on building up there? Place is bloodier than the red clay. It's full of hum." My father, he was undeterred by this. His resolve was strong and his warrior spirit burned bright. And in the spring of 1987, he broke ground out there. Immediately, the troubles started. At first, there were minor pranks. A tool would go missing, and days later, it would show up in a root well, or it'd be hanging up in a tree, swaying in branches. He would leave the work site over the weekend, and when he came back, boards would be scattered everywhere. Nails would be pulled out of the boards and twisted like gnarled fingers out there. It got worse. As he broke ground and he laid the foundation, rocks seemed to explode out from the earth. The ground seemed to move beneath him where it derailed progress. Sentinel trees that had stood for hundreds of years at this site, unexplainably, limbs came crashing down, breaking the job site. No one could explain this. He talked to my mom about it, and he said that he felt a presence, something acting against him, some sinister force out there. He would describe in the early hours before dawn would break, he would see shadows moving across the forest, and he would hear howls out there in the night. As summer ended, as that first year started to draw as a close, it became a personal battle, a frenzy to fight against this force and finish that build. So much to the point that he decided to move to the job site. He lived there for weeks on end, building this cabin. He put up the frame, he put up the walls, he got the roof up eventually. He fought back against all of this. And as winter started to set in, as he felt that first frost come in, about this time in October, he started the final part of the build. He had a vision. He was going to lay a grand entryway, a huge concrete slab about as big as round as this. And on it, he was going to put river rocks in there. And he spent weeks walking trails, walking down by the river, finding red, multicolored river rocks, perfectly flat, a nod to the bloody past of this land. And on a clear day, he started early in the morning, he poured the slab, and he got down and placed the rocks one by one, perfectly spread out. It was beautiful. He got done, got ready to place that last rock, and as he placed it, he heard a terrible crash from the backyard, sprinted back to the back door, and he saw where he had built a staircase 10 stairs high going up to that back door. The staircase was ripped off the house. The lag bolts were shorn at the head, crashed down. The door was hanging from a single hinge off the back of the house. There's no trees around, no one out there, completely unexplainable. And he stood there perplexed, looking at this damage, looking at what happened, and his heart had fallen down to the ground with the setback that had just occurred. On the back of his neck started to stand on edge. He heard this otherworldly howl, and he'd heard things before, but never like this, never this close, never this haunting. He took a second to think about it, but he was so sucked into the damage that had just happened. This time it came from inside the house. He sprinted back to the front door as if reacting to battle. And he got to the door. He almost ran into that entryway where that concrete was, where it was still wet, and he caught himself right before he did that. He looked down, and in the center of that entryway, there was a giant paw print, bigger than his hand. You can see the pads and the claws in it pressed into the concrete there. No tracks coming or going, just one single print. And he realized that awful weight that was on him, the frenzy, the anxiety of this build, had been lifted off of him. He didn't feel it anymore. He felt calm. He felt at peace. And he decided that he would leave that there. For years, we've gone through that entryway hundreds, maybe thousands of times. And that paw print stands there today. The mark of the ghost dog, as we would call it. Our silent sentinel, our protector, watching over that house. We never found out what left it. We probably never will. But if you're ever in the Smoky Mountains, if you're in those deep forests and you're wandering about, and in the night you hear, "Boo," just know it's the ghost dog, and he's watching over you.
Now.
Well, don't turn these